gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 songs from the Little Mermaid franchise.
Poor unfortunate souls in pain, in need.
For this list, we'll be looking at the catchiest tunes from one of our favorite Disney franchises. If we missed any of your favorite sing-alongs, let us know in the comments below. Number 20, Here on the Land and Sea, Finale, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. It's hard to come up with a good finale song. So hard, in fact, that a lot of musicals will just repurpose earlier songs and take the audience out on a high note.
I feel the music playing, it's swinging and it's swaying, life is a rhapsody.
But in The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, composer Danny Trube went the extra mile and came up with a brand new song to take us home. Here on the Land and Sea finale is sung by Sebastian as the Land and Sea Kingdom come together for the first time. That little red crab has an energy that's incredibly contagious, and he definitely has us tapping our toes to this one. Sebastian supremacy.
Together now, here on the non-answer.
Number 19, Human Stuff, The Little Mermaid Musical. When The Little Mermaid hit the Broadway stage in 2008, it only made sense that some of the characters with more minor roles would get some new unique numbers.
Say that you wanna have a hairdo like the folks who live up there do that or flap their wigs.
Scuttle the Seagull is one of those characters in the movie who's certainly beloved, but doesn't get much of an opportunity to partake in the musicality of it all. In the musical, however, he has a couple of chances to shine. He gets us bobbing our heads to the wonderful positivity, and he obviously has a ton of fun in Human Stuff.
Back when the world was prehistorical, people sat as still as coral flat upon their bumps.
We all remember Scuttle's expertise of human artifacts. This adaptation gives that scene rhythm and catchiness in a topsy-turvy number with a driving beat and plenty of silly antics. Number 18, Sweet Child, The Little Mermaid Musical. From the Little Mermaid movie musical to the Little Mermaid on-stage musical, we get a plethora of great new songs.
Each child, poor child, so tragic, so misunderstood.
While the reprise of Sweet Child is certainly something to write home about, the main version just can't be beat.
Who will ease her woes and worry? Who will help her get her man?
Flotsam and Jetsam are Ursula's eel henchmen, and in the movie, they don't have a ton to do other than be eerie as all heck. But on the stage, they get to sing this very scary, very slippery little number. The harmonies in Sweet Child are some of the creepiest we've ever heard, but they're also strangely enticing. It's no wonder Ariel got herself caught up in all of this. Number 17, Finale, The Little Mermaid Musical. Sometimes you write a new song, but sometimes the old one does just fine. Or the melody does, at least. The finale for The Little Mermaid Musical mostly rests on the laurels of Part of Your World, which we'll come back to later. The lyrics are repurposed to reflect Eric and Ariel's happy ending, rather than Ariel's dream to leave the sea.
Starting life completely right.
What's more, the song is arranged for a chorus and an Ariel and Eric duet, rather than a solo. It's a lovely spin on the song. While Part of Your World has always been hopeful, this finale trades in its melancholic undertones for joy. Number 16, I Remember, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning. Ever wonder why King Triton was a bit of a stick in the mud at the beginning of The Little Mermaid? Well, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning reveals the king's tragic backstory. King Triton's wife, Athena, loved music and used to sing a beautiful song.
Waves try to measure the days that we treasure.
But when she died suddenly, Triton banished all music from the kingdom. However, that didn't stop Ariel. After happening upon a secret band of fish, Ariel remembers her mother's love for music. She begins to sing a song called I Remember.
I remember sitting in the moonlight right on that feeling.
The song is both an uplifting exaltation of music, as well as a way for Ariel to feel closer to her mother.
I remember her, I remember music.
Number 15, The World Above, The Little Mermaid musical. When it comes down to it, in the original The Little Mermaid movie, Ariel doesn't have that many songs to sing.
This is where I belong, beneath the clear white blue here.
She does lose her voice early on in the film, after all. However, in the play adaptation, Ariel is able to sing when she's alone, giving voice to her thoughts for the audience. This gave us ballads like Beyond My Wildest Dreams, and of course the beautiful The World Above and its reprise.
There's so much light here, light and space.
The World Above is the first of Ariel's solos in the musical, and although it borrows some motifs from Part of Your World, it stands on its own and helps set the stage for the character's love of the human world.
It feels so right here, warm as love.
Number 14, Down to the Sea, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. When you've got an opener like Fathoms Below to live up to, you better put in the work. Luckily for us, composer Danny Trube undeniably did.
You are my world, my darling.
Down to the Sea opens up the sequel movie with the birth of Eric and Ariel's daughter Melody. From the outset, it has an ethereal, loving tone as Ariel sings quietly to her daughter. But then, the real fun starts.
We better be going.
Look at her, isn't she glowing?
The opening number has a driving, jumpy rhythm to it that will have you smiling from ear to ear. Plus, there is an entire Sebastian solo that's more than worth the price of entry.
There is no hesitating. Today we're celebrating Ariel's melody.
Number 13, I Want the Good Times Back, The Little Mermaid musical. As far as villains go, Ursula's one of the best. And she gets one of the greatest villain songs of all time with Poor Unfortunate Souls in The Little Mermaid, but in the musical adaptation, she gets even more opportunities to show off her chops.
Daddy dear was floating on his deathbed. He divvied up the kingdom into two.
One of our favorite Ursula songs from the stage is I Want the Good Times Back and its reprise. Ursula sings this one with all the gusto of Sally Bowles in Cabaret, and it's liable to make you want to jump out of your seat and dance.
Want the entire sea to worship me on bended fin.
There have been so many actors who have sung their hearts out on this one, but listening to Sherry Renee Scott on the original cast album doesn't get much better than that.
And fellas, it's my time, and frankly, it's high time.
Number 12, Her Voice, The Little Mermaid musical. In the original The Little Mermaid, Eric doesn't sing at all. In fact, he's the only official Disney prince to date who doesn't carry a tune. He does play a mean flute, though. All the same, Broadway musicals are a different animal, and it would be rather strange for a character as prominent as the protagonist's love interest not to join in on the lyrical fun.
Where did she go? Where can she be?
One of his greatest songs is a ballad called Her Voice. The prince sings it just after Ariel has saved his life, but before she turns human. Once again, the song borrows quite a bit from Part of Your World's opening motif.
Her voice, it's sweet as angels sighing.
But after that beginning, it settles into a gorgeous melody of its own and allows the actor to belt their heart out.
Her voice.
Number 11, One Step Closer, The Little Mermaid musical. One human activity Ariel mentions while she fawns over the human world is dancing. Lucky for her, Broadway Eric is more than a capable teacher.
Dancing is a language that is felt instead of heard.
As the two spend more time together, Eric decides to try and teach Ariel how to express herself through the art of dance. He does so with a song called One Step Closer.
Back and forth, round and round.
The musical number features wonderful dancing from both actors with plenty of personality, and the melody itself is one of the more beautiful tunes from the crop of new songs written for the play. Even when there's no words, the music's expressiveness puts forth everything you need to know.
One step closer.
Number 10. For a Moment, The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. 16-year-old Ariel was no walk in the park parenting-wise, so it only makes sense that her own daughter would inherit her fiery stubbornness.
Okay, get a grip. Get the hang of this flipper. It's like slipping 2 feet into one big huge slipper.
In The Little Mermaid 2, Ariel's daughter Melody has the opposite desire her mother did, which is to be a mermaid. Against her mother's wishes, she becomes one and sings For a Moment while she prances around the sea.
For a moment, all of me is alive and at home in the sea.
It's an upbeat and buoyant song, but one tinged with melancholy. The song is not just a solo, but is sung by both Melody and Ariel. Ariel's sadder melodies merge beautifully with her daughter's happier ones for a super moving duet.
Just a moment, I'd be
Number 9. Daughters of Triton, The Little Mermaid. In the first 2 installments of The Little Mermaid, we don't learn too much about Ariel's sisters. When you think about it, that's kind of odd, seeing as she has 6 of them. But there is one moment in the original film that the girls have to shine, and boy do they take it. Conducted by none other than Sebastian himself, the girls sing Daughters of Triton at the beginning of the 1989 film.
Then there is the youngest in her musical debut. Our 7th little sister, we're presenting her to you.
It's a short number, and one that's ruined by a certain someone not showing up.
She's our sister, Ari.
Still, in that short amount of time, the sisters show us that they're all absolutely stellar musicians. We wish we got a little more of them. Number 8. Fathoms Below, The Little Mermaid. It's one of the most iconic openings in Disney history. We can picture it now. A few dolphins and a seagull frolicking in the ocean waves. And then a massive ship rolls onto the scene and strapping young sailors begin to sing about their days on the open sea.
I'll tell you a tale of the bottomless blue and its hay to the starboard heave-ho.
Fathoms Below is one of the best sea shanties we've ever heard, and holds a special place in our hearts. It marks the first time we see Prince Eric, and it marks the official start of the Disney Renaissance years. That's pretty special if you ask us. Number 7. Les Poissons, The Little Mermaid. There's no doubt that Sebastian is one of our favorite characters in all of The Little Mermaid. What is a little surprising is how much we also love the French chef who keeps trying to cook him.
Poissons, les poissons, how I love les poissons!
The musical added a very fun reprise for Les Poissons, but for this list, we've got to stick with the original. The song features Chef Louis, played by the iconic René Auberjonois, singing delightedly about chopping up fish as Sebastian looks on in horror. Auberjonois' performance is hysterical, and the interplay between Sebastian and Chef Louis is some of the most dynamic in the film. Number 6. She's in Love, The Little Mermaid musical. While Ariel's sisters might not have too many songs to sing in the 1989 movie, that all changed when the stage reimagining came along.
She's dizzy and she's dreamy. Her head's up in the foam. Her eyes have gone all gleamy. It's like there's no one home.
Ariel spends so much of her time underwater in the film pining after Eric, it's just implausible that her sisters would have missed out on that. The musical remedied that small blunder from the movie with She's in Love.
I think she's even wearing brand new shades.
This pop song Dream features Ariel's sisters singing their hearts out in perfect harmony about how gaga their sister is over some guy. Plus, the song has an absolutely unforgettable showing from Flounder, who we think deserves way more love in every adaptation. Number 5. Kiss the Girl, The Little Mermaid. Sebastian is probably the most musically inclined character in all of The Little Mermaid, so it makes sense that he gets to sing so many of the songs in the original movie.
There you see her, sitting there across the way.
He even takes the love ballad between Ariel and Eric, which you might expect to be sung by the lovebirds themselves. There's just no competition though. Samuel E. Wright's deep, soothing vocals are perfect for Kiss the Girl.
There is one way to ask her.
The tune has such a smooth island rhythm to it, it's hard not to immediately fall in love. Wright turns up the charm as Sebastian, with charisma to 11 and enough suggestion to push any dithering couple closer. Number 4. If Only Quartet, The Little Mermaid musical. Quartet numbers aren't too common in general, but there's something really magnificent about them.
If only you could know the things I long to say.
The stage play decided to incorporate one sung by Ariel, Prince Eric, Sebastian, and King Triton, each lamenting about their regrets, strained relationships, running out of time, and wishing for something they're not sure they'll get.
Why do I feel dizzy in a way I've only felt but once before?
While there is also a lovely reprise version of the song, the original brings those 4 voices together in such perfect harmony, it's hard to ignore. The melody suits each singer's voice wonderfully, and the way they come together is ridiculously impressive. Number 3. Poor Unfortunate Souls, The Little Mermaid. In The Little Mermaid movie and in the musical, Ursula gets more than a few opportunities to strut her stuff.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch.
She has a pretty eerie, enticing song when she turns into Vanessa, and the reprise to Poor Unfortunate Souls in the musical is a good one as well. But we'd be loons to pass up on the original.
And I fortunately knew a little magic. It's a talent that I always have possessed.
Poor Unfortunate Souls is a masterpiece of a song. Not just one of the best Disney villain songs, but one of the best Disney songs point blank. In particular, Pat Carroll's performance in the 1989 film bursts with evil charm and pizzazz. It still haunts our dreams and nightmares to this day.
Come on, you poor unfortunate soul!
Number 2. Under the Sea, The Little Mermaid. We don't really know if this song needed a reprise, but when The Little Mermaid musical came along, it certainly got one. However, a reprise usually means the song is shorter, and if anything, we want Under the Sea to be longer.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake.
Sebastian sings this to Ariel early in the film when he's trying to convince her that life under the sea is better than she realizes. He might not convince Ariel, but he does more than enough to convince us.
Down here all the fish is happy as off through the waves they roll.
The driving beat and syncopated rhythms of this song will never fail to make us want to dance. Add that hip-swaying verve with Samuel E. Wright's incredible performance, and you've got a song for the ages. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Just One Mistake, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning. We can't help but think that Marina Del Rey might deserve the job.
The straw to break Sebastian's back a teeny dint, a tiny crack. A dowdy double take, what I need is one mistake.
The Contest, The Little Mermaid musical. Eric pulls a Prince Charming and tries to find the girl with the voice. Tip and Dash, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. An adventurous song for an adventurous trio.
Tip and daring dash, adventurous / explorer.
Give a Little Love, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. Give us a little more of this song.
We got to give a little love, have a little hope, make this world a little better.
I Will Sing, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning. Everybody sing for the rest of your lives.
I will sing for the rest of my life.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Part of Your World, The Little Mermaid. You knew this was coming. It's true that this song might have the best reprise of them all, especially with that iconic shot of Ariel. But there's nothing better or more iconic than the original Part of Your World.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete?
When Howard Ashman and Alan Menken wrote this, do you think they knew they had a hit on their hands? We don't see how they couldn't have. The opening motif to Part of Your World is so iconic, it finds its way into almost every other song on this list.
Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the
That beautiful melody leads into a stunning ballad that little kids will sing for years to come. This is the I Want song to end all I Want songs, and we can't get enough.
Part of that world.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.